We are delighted to welcome the newest superstar member of the Active Hobo family. Sarah, thank you so much for coming through. For anyone who doesn't know, Sarah is a professional off-road cyclist, which encompasses gravel and mountain. If you've had the displeasure of riding on a wheel up to the mast, you'll know just exactly what that means. I'm glad I had the opportunity to go and spend some time riding up there with you. Sarah, let's talk about you today, your story, road racing, why you don't love it, why you don't do it,
Yes.
the mast, your move here, just very keen to unpack your
Cool.
story in as authentic a way as we can. So if you don't mind, you're welcome to reintroduce yourself if I butchered it, but I would quite like to start a little bit at the front and then go back to the beginning. Maybe just circling around some of the recent races you've done, some of the recent results, and then we can jump back to the start.
Yeah, perfect. Happy to do it that way.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what are some of the recent achievements, results, races you've done this year? I know that's a long list.
Yeah.
You're
Well,
busy.
it's contract season at the moment. So we're not only looking at, who's sponsoring us next year, are they still interested? Can we keep the women's team going? But we're also looking at the calendar for 2026.
Okay.
And I was sitting there at my laptop a couple of days ago going, oh my gosh, I don't know how. When do you train? There are just races now coming out of our
Sure.
ears. And
Locally.
Yeah, that's not
Nice.
even international events. And I have a list of so many bucket list events that I've been desperately trying to get to each and every year. But it's always a difference of when is national champs? And do we need a peak for this one? And is this an A race for the team versus an A race for myself? So, this year, let me just say, firstly, it is so good to be back racing as a professional cyclist again.
Okay.
I took 2 years of being a privateer, which, props to all of the amazing women who do that on a global level. But it was so tough. And I think the hardest thing for me then was how much I was working to sustain the financial support required to race. And that's just on a local level.
Yeah.
And so to be back racing for Efficient Infinity, they were originally Galileo Risk, which was the team that I was with when I raced with Theresa Rolfe. The family have welcomed me back. And that in itself, to create an environment supportive of a pro cyclist is step one.
Yeah.
And then to let the athlete...
It's not easy, right?
No. And we've seen it. We've seen it around us, how women are chopping and changing teams, and the expectation from one team to the other doesn't always translate. And you might get a bigger salary or you might get a nicer bike, but sometimes you get one thing but lose another.
Yeah.
And for me, coming back into this pro racing world, I have the most incredible teammates that are just so supportive, even though they are champions in their own self. Here I am, I don't have a national title. I'm not anything in terms of the world podium. I've won an African jersey at Epic, but that's kind of my claim to fame. I don't have much.
Deal. That is a claim.
When your teammate to your right is Vera Lossa and to your left it's Robin de Groot, and then up here is Sam Sanders, and then Steph Walters coming in. We have such a powerful team in terms of our ability to perform. So being back in this, I feel right, this is the atmosphere, this is the environment I've needed.
Okay.
And
good to have a break and realize, that whole, you don't know what you've got till it's gone. Is that bit of that in there?
100%. We'll get to the story. It's 100% exactly that. And so I watched myself decline before I came back. And it's been a pretty long comeback in my mind. Since 2019, I'd say. We're finally reaching power numbers I used to hit, the aggression I used to race with, that fire inside of me.
Emotional, spiritual, physical, it's all coming back.
Yeah. And
I'm dying to get into that part of the story. Hopefully the viewers will feel the same. Now we're going to go back to the beginning. That's why you do this.
Yeah. And I mean...
clickbait. We're supposed to insert that video now that says 70% of our viewers don't subscribe to the channel.
Okay.
If you're not subscribed, please go and we don't really do that. But please do subscribe.
Yes. Okay.
I'm dying to get back to that. I want to rush through childhood and upbringing, so that obviously shaped the person you are today. But I know you're originally from Joburg.
Yes.
I have seen you over the years from a distance, so it's great to be sitting this close, talking and telling your story. It's
cool.
It's surreal, actually. So I've known you for a very long time, being from Joburg as well. And, you know, you follow cycling. It's a small group in South Africa.
Yeah.
So to be sitting here now, both living in the same suburb in Cape Town,
Cool.
which is not a common one, sitting telling the story is, it's moments like these that I really realize how much I love what we do here, which, like I was saying to you earlier, has no revenue stream. It's entirely passion driven, and it's so worth it. It's very rad. So take us back to the beginning. Where did you grow up? What was that like?
So I was actually born in East London, out of all places.
Did not know that.
Yeah, but pretty soon after that, my dad moved jobs, and my mom and I followed to Pretoria, and then we really settled in Joburg. My dad was climbing the ranks in his own way. He started out as an accountant, and he's got his own story. I'd love to put my dad here and say, tell them what you did, because he, at the core of what he did with his life, inspired me and still inspires me to continue doing what I'm doing every single day. So we eventually settled in Joburg, did prep school there. At school, I was so sporty. I truly am the definition of an athlete student. I'm not really the student athlete, but you'll see it changes. So for anyone who's worried about high school, you step into varsity and it's a whole new world. Yeah. But I played every single sport that I could. And it's funny being older and more of an adult, and your friends are all having kids. They start to go, yo, Sarah, did you know extramurals are so expensive? Now my kid wants to do this. Now they want to play art. Now they want to sprint every single afternoon. And I sit back and I'm like, oh, thank you, family, for allowing. We're always saying yes. Yeah. I wanted to try
the financial and the time cost is difficult to comprehend.
100%. I wanted to try out high jump, so I needed to join the athletic team. I wanted to play preseason netball, and it was DeveloNet at the time. My mom was like, absolutely, go and try, have fun. My mom was a swimmer. I tried swimming, hated it, so quickly veered away from the water.
What were you competitive at in primary and high school?
So primary school, I would say netball and that 100-meter sprint.
Okay.
So I was a very explosive kid. Okay. And I think also from a personality perspective, I would push the boundaries on just about everything. Okay. Got into a lot of trouble, but also, performed really well. The sports kept me on the straight and narrow.
I see your peers hopefully jumping in the comments. Hey, Sarah, remember that time?
Yes, prep school was a long time ago. But then, so I moved from Grayston Prep to St. Stithians College.
Grayston Prep is where?
It's in Grayston near Sandton City. Okay. Yeah, so I was...
Heart of Joburg.
Yeah, I grew up really in the city, between my four walls of the house kind of thing. Yeah. And so a lot of my friends, because it was a co-ed prep school, they were all moving to all boys schools or all girls schools. So my mom actually went to Brescia House. We went to take a look, but they were wearing strange hats, and green really wasn't my color. So I said to her, and it's so funny, the reasons why you don't want to go to different schools, but I was just I don't know if I can do that, the whole hat green thing.
Literally, that was
the reason.
That is hilarious.
It wasn't their, religious background or the location or the sports that they played. Or
it is a particular culture, that school.
Yeah, every school.
Good one. Very pro Brescia, but...
Yeah. Every school has their reputation.
And so doesn't work.
Yeah, none of my friends were going there either. So I was like, no, that's strange. So the next step was going, okay, well, Sarah, what kind of sports do you like to play? And so I was loving my netball at the time. And, in grade...
Position?
So at the time I was wing defense. Okay. But I could also jump. So I would switch between goal defense and wing defense. Okay. At the time of prep school, everyone's kind of the same height. Yeah, that's it. And I was one of those kids who in grade 5, I was playing with the grade 7s. So they kept pushing me up, which I think helped make me the athlete that I am today. But man, it's hard to make friends when all you are is surrounded by people completely on a different maturity level, growth level. Okay. They're all doing different things.
That's something that you can remember. Friendship not being a strong point.
Professional sport and loneliness go hand in hand. And I feel like I've kind of experienced that from the very beginning. Okay. So then in high school, I went in for netball, immediately was put into the B team. And I was like, oh, what is this,
I'll show you.
I was the big fish, and now I'm the tiny, tiny fish in this huge high school. And St. Stithians College at the time were incredibly good as their sport. They invested a lot of money in there.
Big time.
And my parents...
The facilities there are world class.
And they have their high performance center, their gym center, the fields are massive. Like there's 8 rugby fields in St. Stithians College. And then
that rugby festival, something out of this world. And they started doing it over the same time as the Cares one.
Yes, yeah.
Very controversial.
Yeah, well, my dad went to JP.
Because my mate went to Cares, Marcus Spruby, and we were always like, Cares, no, we can only go there.
Yes.
And the Saints one was so good that we started splitting it. We'd go half to the Cares and they would jump ship.
Oh, cool.
Because they were so over the top.
Yeah. I mean, they have to be.
Yeah.
So my dad's a JP boy. So that weekend also kind of clashed with him a little bit. Luckily, there's no rugby for women at the time then. But so a couple of my friends had gone to St. Stithians. So my parents were happy. The academics were good. It was like a safe school. Again, amazing opportunity. I look at the school fees of St. Stithians and I don't know how I could ever afford to do that. So again, like, wow.
Massive kudos to the parents.
Yes.
I hope they watch up until this point in the video.
But then one of my friends goes, Sarah, have you ever thought about rowing? Like, what about rowing as a sport? Oh, no, and I was like, oof.
Another one. You're going to completely, every person I sit with here, it is, Reichardt will know this. Every time it's an elite level pro cyclist, it's always rowing at the start.
I know.
Please don't tell me you were a brilliant rower. What is the connection between rowing and elite cycling?
Well, maybe my story will be different. So I first was like, oof, no water, no thanks. Like I've tried the swimming part, so like let alone me falling in the water.
Where did you row? Zuurlake?
Rudderplaat. Yeah.
Oh,
where
gosh.
all the world champions have been made is at Rudderplaat. So I said to my friend, her name was Jo Dunlop, such a cool chick, real go-getter. She was like, just come on the grade 7 camp. Like, it will be fun, you know? And I show up, and like after the first day, my hands were just destroyed, ripped. Like there was just blood coming from my hands.
Oh, sure.
And because you have like the rowing oars, but then there's also the ergo machine, and everything is just hand driven. And I was just so out of my league. But it was so hard. It was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
Probably loved that.
And that's what I was like, how hard is hard? Like what is the hardest I've ever pushed my body? And I got really, really curious on my own personal performances and the best that I can be. But again, I was in the B team, you know, and like
how big is a rowing team? I know nothing about rowing, despite having so many.
At the time, St. Stithians girls, we had a big rowing team. I wouldn't say it's massive, but with a lot of the parent sponsors, we were able to have an insane boathouse. And then a lot of the boats were sponsored or donated or bought. And so I think, you know, it's that top-down approach. Like if you give the kids the equipment, then the talent will also come.
Sure.
And just because the opportunity is there. And they're also on, I think it was a Philippi boats. Like they're on this carbon, lightweight, fast machines. So, so I jumped in, and pretty quickly I started to climb the ranks, and it happened in netball too. So there were 2 simultaneous sports happening. But my dad, in his time, was a professional soccer player. So I was then also playing for Old Parks, and I would play at Saint Soccer.
Where
and
did
again,
he play?
at Old Parks.
Okay.
Yeah. But that kind of like slowly faded out because my dad, on the one match on the sidelines, he decided to be that like helicopter parent and tell me how to play. And eventually I stood up to him and I was like, don't tell me how to play. Like, I can't play like you, but I can play like me. So don't tell me how to do what I need to do. On the pitch.
Oh, damn.
And he's come to every single game I've ever played. And he still has come to every single game I've ever played. But now at least he doesn't add his 10 cents anymore. But so soccer faded out and rowing and netball just took over.
So those were the cool sports.
Yeah.
So just help me understand quickly, rowing, is that team sports, 5 of you in a boat?
Yeah.
You on your own? What is the dynamic there? I'm trying to find this connection between, because what is rowing? Is that aerobic? Is it having big lungs and a big engine to be able to constantly row? Is it strong arms? Is it, what is it? What is that like? What's that?
I would say
the core of a good rower.
I would say rowing is a very anaerobic sport. I mean, you train hours and hours and hours to race under 8 minutes. like that's your race.
Okay.
2Ks is
Extremely
between
explosive.
6 and 8.5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, and they break the 2Ks up into 250 meters at a time. So if you think
Okay.
of like what is 250, it's a sprint.
Yeah.
So you just sprinting a bit harder, you know, fighting for your life and then burning for home. Like that's kind of how you do it.
That also then brings in a mental grit to be able to do that is a whole different kettle of fish.
Yes.
Fair to say?
Yeah.
Big mental part of it, like wanting to push and drive.
Number one, wanting to, and then number two, being able to. So there's definitely, and that'll play into the rest of the story of who I am. But I was in the double. So I did race quad. Okay. So I didn't do like four.
Quad,
so
4 people in a boat.
Yeah. So I didn't do sweep oar. At Saints at that time, they only did 2-bladed rowing. So I was in the scull by myself. I was in the double with a phenomenal woman called Holly Norton. Okay. If anyone knows who she is, I mean, she was on the British Olympic, I think, big squad in the end. She's got so many amazing, incredible titles to her name. Okay. And I was fortunate enough to be her doubles partner, which was crazy. And then I rode in the quad. And so in the quad, we had 4 of us, and then I forget the name now, the Cox, who steers us in the front. Okay. Yeah. And so again, I worked my way up, and then in grade 9, I got put into the first team. And it happened in netball. So grade 9, I was like, it was so weird how...
For such an athletic school, that's abnormal. Like at Benoni High, that is very normal.
Yeah.
Grade 10, if you're just slightly above average, you could make first team.
Yeah.
But any of the elite
like
schools,
grade 9.
which Saints is one of them, that's abnormal.
Yeah. So it was scary and intimidating because I felt like I didn't really have a choice. But of course, I wanted to play with people of my skill. Yeah. But I was admiring these, like, I want to say, like, women, proper women. Like I would in grade 9, I feel like I was still a girl, kind of, especially mentally. And then I was playing with 18-year-old.
Grade 9, you're like 15.
Yeah, and then I was playing with 18-year-old women who, you know, their life experience is already like way surpassed. Everyone's drinking and partying, and I'm just like still 15. And then same in the rowing boat. So I became like a very quiet person because I would speak and express myself through my sport and performance. Okay. So if anyone had anything to say to me, they would then take those words back when they played against me, kind of thing.
Was there any jabs, any like, you too young, you don't belong here, or anything like that? Or was there jealousy from your peers that maybe weren't at that level, or was everyone just happy for you, kind of thing?
I think in high school, so I had sticky out ears. So I was one of those kids. So I was called Dumbo, and like I was teased and bullied my whole life. And so eventually I got the surgery done to pin my ears back. Okay. But I think I was so overwhelmed with like what I looked like that, you know, the ears had to be flat back. We never had earrings or anything in high school, so at least that was easy. But it was like the girls rolled their skirts up. Do you have the gap between your legs? Like my whole upbringing was really about visually, what do you look like? And then how many guys.
Joburg North is particularly brutal. It's a hard environment.
The honesty was hard. And with women, they do it subtly and straight to your face. So you have to, that
There's
dynamic
that old saying, women don't dress up to impress men, they dress up to impress other women.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
They're not dolling up for you.
Yeah.
It's who else is going to be there? Oh, that's, even at Saints, I would have imagined that to be such a close-knit, like, family vibe.
You know,
It's still not. I suppose that's...
At the time when I was there was no outward recognition. So we didn't have, like, special blazers. There wasn't, you know, scrolls rolling down. So everyone looked the same. And I think I loved that.
As a school policy.
Yes. So whether you were culturally a superhero, you could draw and paint the best in the world, whether you were like some, what do you call those people in matric who are super good?
Camelot.
Yeah, or like a prefix.
Yeah.
You were a prefect, like no one looked different. So I enjoyed that because I felt like it was how I fit in. Yeah. Everyone was a bit strange in high school, so it was nice to just be like a part of the crew. Okay. But then someone took a court case out and won it. And so in our final year, we were given like white blazers and scrolls and all these things.
Someone took a court, like a parent?
I don't know what happened, but they had been fighting. They had been fighting about why Saints should be outwardly recognized for their achievements.
Crazy.
And it's weird
because I think for a lot of parents, it's very important.
Sure.
They live and die by, you know, my son's head boy and first team and captain, and they love those scrolls. Yeah. You know, you get the parents that love the...
I'd look at those things and be like, okay, like that.
I'm proud of... we've got kids that are older, 17 and 14, and they're brilliant children. Dylan's very similar to you in mentality and ability. And he works for that. That definitely works for him. Knowing that he wants to be the best. He wants to be recognized as the best. So for him, very important.
Yeah. And I think it's so funny because even now, like they're racing all these mountain bike events or road events to get their colors. And I'm always like, what is colors? Like, is that a scroll or is that like a certificate? Like, what does it mean?
Blazer normally.
Sure.
I expect that I get a different blazer.
But I never had that. Like, our school never had that.
in high school to make Easterns because you got a black blazer. If you ever saw a kid from Benoni High, they called the blazer a chappie wrapper.
It
had yellow. It was yellow stripes and black. It was the most hideous blazer in the world. Like, I challenge anyone to find an ugly blazer in Benoni High. And in grade 8, you could qualify for half colors or full colors. You couldn't get it by grade 8 unless you're an SA like Olympic champion.
Sure.
And that was a black blazer with a gold rim. And because we're from Joburg and because everything revolves around chicks and impressing and all that stupid stuff that rules your world as a child going through that pubescent phase, the black blazer and the gold beading was like everything. So I worked my ass off to make Easterns to get the blazer. I didn't really care after that. Like, that's how stupid I was. I get it.
I watch these kids like live or die for these blazers and these scrolls and the colors, and the motivation and the incentive is awesome because it's like you get rewarded for your hard work. But for me, it was like, I'm putting in the hard work. I'm already performing as best as I can. Like, all I want to do is fit in. I just want to be a part of everything.
Crazy perspective. And I think there's so many kids that would hear this and be like, yes, I get it.
Like a lot
do
of
what
people,
she says.
like a lot of people, like, you're born to stand out. And I'm like, no thanks.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, winning a bike race is super awesome. And like,
I can't even imagine. What is it like winning a bike race? Tell me.
Oh, it's like that sense of relief.
What's your best, most memorable victory? Is there one that stands out?
So it's not a first, it's a second. And it actually happened last year with Vera. We came into Wines to Wales being paired up the week of Wines to Wales.
Okay.
And I got a call from the team and they were like, this is your job interview. If you'd like to be a part of our team, like, say yes, let's see how you go. And Vera and I had done Epic together, so we know each other. And I love her. She has an incredible way of like making you look super strong, even though she could be riding with one leg, just chilling, but she just has a way, and that's the real teammate, is like, how do you bring the best out of someone else?
Yeah.
And I went to her and I was like, look, I'm scared. What if we don't get on the podium? I don't want to let you down, let the team down, because Vera last year, she was the World Marathon Series champion. So she had done the World Marathon Champs and come the highest in all of them, and she had that title. And now she's racing with a, I don't know, like 4th place at nationals kind of chick. Like, I just felt like I wasn't on her level. And so we started, and she's like, I think we got 3rd. Like, come on, I think we got it. And I said, because you said it, like, I believe it too.
Yeah.
And we started racing, and I have never ridden so hard out of Lawrenceford in my whole life.
Yeah.
Like, I pretended like the finish line of Wines to Wales was at the very top of that first Lawrenceford climb.
Yeah.
Not only did I absolutely demolish my 20-minute FTP, but like so what it feels like to win a bike race, like when you're on your absolute limit, you are going, you can't breathe anymore. Like you start to tingle, you get these, like, it's almost like you're going cold. And your whole body goes numb and you no longer feel pain. And then you sprint and then you win. Yeah. That is like such an addictive feeling because those endorphins, like you check the chicks at cross-country races and the guys like fall over at the finish line. It's very hard to actually get yourself to a point where you collapse. And I watched some of the finish line. I'm like, I don't know if you went that hard, like you want to fall over. But you go so hard that numbing sensation activates like another gear, and then you go. And that's the wins that you cherish. Yeah. But so I felt those shivers and numbness at the top. So that's about 10 kilometers into a 3-day stage race. And we caught 3rd place up that climb, which was insane. And I also remember Vera going, she was like, this is as hard as I can go. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm clearly going way too hard. I'm sprinting up this thing. But when we overtook that team, and then it was only Candice and Tyler ahead of us, we then all rode together for 2 days, or pretty much 2.5 stages.
So that was
of
the
three.
deciding.
Yeah, well,
If you didn't do that, you couldn't have ridden with them. You'd have to then have attacked, and tactically would have played out differently.
I read somewhere or listened somewhere that confidence is like evidence-based. You're confident when you've proven to yourself that you can do it. And
100% true.
I wish that there was such thing as unconditional confidence. And with my clients, I actually try and teach similar beliefs, like you're worthy enough to be confident all the time.
Yeah.
But I had proven on that day that I was strong enough. And Vera just helped, like, again, open that door. And she was like, go, like because we can descend. Like, I love Vera. I can just send it down the hill. And she's right there. Like, it's like easy. Don't have to look back. I know she's fine. And so you can imagine, like, Candice, Tyler, myself, Vera, just shredding through these Grobro trails as fast as we could. And in the end, we ended up coming second. But there was something about that that's, like, so winning worthy. It's so... you hold those moments really close.
I can see your whole face light up, and you can like feel the energy of it. I can't. I really can't.
We need to get you a ride.
To that.
You need to ride more mountain bike races. I'll get you there.
Yeah, don't hold your breath. Enjoy it. We'll circle back around to that. So high school, crushing it at sport. At grade 9, I'm assuming that trend continues throughout high school. A good end. Your stint there?
From a netball perspective, I ended up becoming center because everyone grew tall, and I kind of, like, I'm actually not tall. So I could jump, but when you start to play a lot of the Afrikaans schools who breed their netball players, like, you realize how tall you need to be a netball player. So my coach advised me to start playing action netball. And so that's when I moved into the provincial world, is through action netball, because it was much faster, very little jumping. So everything was kind of done on eye level. And then I moved to mixed team provincial action netball, which was a jaw, like, super hard and much more physical than you think. Playing netball with men and against men is terrifying. But again, like, that was like the play side of sport, which I enjoyed. And the team aspect, it's so nice to be a part of something. Again, like, there's a trend. And then from rowing, in my grade 9 year, I then was the fastest in South Africa. So I was the SA champion in grade 9. I got a cool little trophy that said, like, under 15 SA champ. It was a massive hoorah. People made a huge deal about it. And in grade 10, I was practically lost because everybody then put so much work in. And I thought, got this. All I need to do is train like I trained the year before. Like, I've got this. And we reached, yes, and everyone grew, and everyone, like, remember the heavy and lightweights raced each other in high school. So I then stayed my 61 kilos, and, the 75 kilo girls were starting to step it up. Given in grade 10, you do race under 19. So you move from under 15 to, like, under 19. But I was so far, it, like, totally crushed me. And I remember sitting with my dad and being like, is it worth it? Is it worth putting all the effort in? Like, this is the hardest knock I've ever taken. And I don't know if I enjoy it. Like, I feel so fatigued and like burnt out to the point where, is rowing even fun anymore? And my dad, like, we were driving home from the regatta, and he said to me, he like told me he loves his stories. And he was like, he was a cross-country runner in school, and he also was phenomenal. Like, he was so much faster than everyone, and with ease. It was not even, like, hard for him to be quick. And then as he grew, people started putting more work in. People started training differently. It wasn't like running barefoot anymore. People got these cool shoes, and then, like, everyone was getting ready for the army, and, like, guys were tough at that time. And he said at one point, like, he remembers racing this cross-country event, and eventually he just, like, stopped. And he was like, enough. Like, it's not fun. It's not worth it anymore. And he ended up quitting and playing a bit of soccer and then going to the army. And at that time, it had been, like, I don't know, 5 or so years since he had really run. And one of his friends was like, hey, let's just go for, like, an early morning run. We got to train anyway, blah, blah. And I think it was in Oudtshoorn when he was stationed there. And he went and he absolutely demolished, like, his 5 or 10K time. Like, it was an insane number. I can't give it to you now because people run so quickly now. But he said to me that he gave himself time to like find what he loved about the sport. And that's what fueled him to ultimately be his best. And the best part was like, he wasn't even trying to get his best personal record. It happened because he was enjoying what he was doing. And so
I related to that so much.
Yeah. And so then the rowing was the summer sport, netball was the winter sport. So I spent the winter thinking about like, well, what is it that I love about rowing? Like, do I want to continue? And then grade 11 came, and it's like, then you all the matric vibe and everyone's close then. So I thought, I'm a part of the crew. Like, I want to be a part of this. And so I joined, and I never was great at rowing. But the purpose of me being there was to test myself, to, collaborate with friends. Like, the responsibility of effort is distributed fairly between your team members. So your crew, the stroke versus the bow, like they hold just as much responsibility for moving the boat. So I love that. I love doing it with somebody, which is why I love stage racing and team racing in mountain biking, because it is very much similar. But it wasn't like really, I didn't have this vision of like trying to make Olympics. And then
I was enjoying it though. Were you enjoying the rowing? In that grade 11.
Yeah, I was enjoying being with everybody and suffering together. Like I keep thinking, like, was I enjoying it, the sport itself? And I was like, I would bring the ergo machine with me in December on holiday and sit on the erg and do 3 by 30-minute pieces, which I can't even sit on the ergo now for 5 minutes before my butt hurts and my hands are already like blistering. And I remember after the season ended, I sat with our coach and I said to the coach, like, should I go to provincial trials? Like, should I do this? And at that time, my 2K time was like 7:58, which now is like lots of people get that number. But at that time, you were on the border. Like, you could be something or like, and I knew I'd have to lose a couple kilos to be lightweight. And I was so not interested in that. Like, I wanted to be strong. I didn't want to be skinny.
Gotcha.
And I said to him, like, do you think I should go to trials? And he was like, honestly, no. And I was so like,
good coach. Well done.
You say that? And I remember my whole like stomach just dropped. And I just sat there like as if this whole wave of fatigue and burnout and stress and tears and everything, like injuries just came rushing to me. And then after a while, he goes, I think you can row in varsity or whatever if you want to, like for fun, but I think you should try another sport. And like, it's been so long that I don't really know the 100% the words he said, but what the message I got out of that was like, you might not be great at this, and I can see that you want to be great at something, but it might just not be in rowing. Like, what if you just tried something else? Rowing is not life. A lot of people, you see kids struggle with their identity as sportsmen, like, and so my dad goes, "Why don't you try?" Yeah.
Yo, what a good coach.
Yeah, I hated him, but he was actually super good. But then my dad goes, "Well, why don't you try riding a bike?" And at that time, he was a part of the original Club 100 when they only had 100 members, and it was road. And I joined him for one ride, and immediately I was like, I couldn't think of anything worse.
Oh, really?
There's traffic, there's people, everyone's like, hole. And I'm just like, like I said, I was so stressed the entire ride. And then I joined another 2 or 3 to see, because my dad was like, just give it some time if you'll like it. My butt was always sore, like the chamois thing. And coming from a place where your appearance mattered so much, being fitted into Lycra is like a woman's worst nightmare because every roll, every squeezy on the legs, like, I wasn't built a lot like the other chicks. So I would get on a bike and I just felt like my bum was just like molting over the saddle. And I was like, this is the most embarrassing thing I've ever done, let alone trying to fix a puncture. And I remember crashing. And it was so bad. So we were in this.
It's funny that this is your origin story to cycling. I can't actually believe
it's ridiculous. But I remember riding in a bunch, and there was a crash behind me, and I was like, and I looked back, and I like looked forward, and I was halfway through the road, and then I crashed myself out because I didn't want to. I didn't want to crash into the cars. but I was so stressed about people around me.
Yeah.
And there was maybe like one female for every 100 men.
Sure.
So like I was so scared. There were so many dads that were just so good at riding bikes.
Yeah.
And, you know, Club 100, very similar to Cycle Lab, had group A, B, C, D.
Sure.
I think we were in the E batch, you know, and I was just like, A seems impossible to reach. And I was like, I'm done, Dad. Like, I don't want to do this. This sucks. And, you know.
Can't believe that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So my dad being my dad, he never quitted. And he was like, let's go for a run. And I'd, you know, barely survive 40 minutes running a 5K. And I'd just be like, my knees hurt watching you run. Like, this is not for me. I don't know how people enjoy this thing.
Yeah.
We did park runs and stuff, and we tried to get into it. But I just, to be honest, when I ran, I just felt heavy. Like, I'm not light on my feet. I'm a baby elephant when I run.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't get this whole stride, gait thing.
Yeah.
And it was embarrassing again.
Some people running, it just looks like
it looks
so
hard.
easy. And it's like,
Yeah.
I just hear my feet hitting the floor like that. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. So then I was just like, let me try. So my dad says like, well, why don't you try mountain biking? And I was like, mountain what? Like you can ride a bike? Like, and I honestly thought.
This is our matric, after matric,
yeah, it's
so like 18, 19.
So your sports have ended. It's like matric exams, but you know, I've got this, whatever. I need to exercise 4 hours of the day and then study for 2 and then like survive matric. Like that's my thought process.
Okay.
I did not get an A in matric, just if anyone wants to, I'm not some genius, okay. But then I honestly thought like mountain biking was, my gardener rocked up on his like mountain bike. And I was like, so it's a commuter thing.
Yeah. I
don't really see many people mountain bike, but also when you don't have that lens on, you don't see that stuff.
Yeah.
So he goes, let's flat pedals, you're not clipped in, like let's put, t-shirt, put your bibs on that you wore for your Club 100. And there's a race at Toba Trails. Let's go and ride there. And he's like, it's a cross-country race. Do you know what that is? And I was like,
I invested your dad in this. What a legend.
And I was like, what? No. Like, but I was also so obnoxious and like, I know it all, super stubborn kind of kid. So, it took a long time. And my dad would just plant a seed here. And then I would dwell over it and be like, okay, maybe we should try it.
It needed to be your idea.
Yeah. So then we go. And I remember being on the start line.
Listening to this part. Like, okay, got you.
Yeah. And so Spike and I met when I was in grade 9. He went to St. Stithians Boys and I was at St. Stithians Girls. Yeah.
Same grade?
No, he was grade 10, but he was 2 years older than me, which was a big deal.
Grade up and 2 years older.
Yeah.
That's important.
So he transferred in from St. Andrews Grahamstown to St. Stithians Boys.
Okay.
And we met in rowing. So rowing is our common theme between Spike and I.
Very cool.
And so in the beginning, essentially one of my very first mountain bike races, I was standing on the start line of Toba Trails. And I even remember Dion Stain, like he's still commissaire now. And he's this UCI commissaire, but he stands there and he goes, put your hand up if you've never done cross country before. And I was like, and he's like, right, I'm going to tell, have you ridden the course yet? And I was like, no, like, do you pre-ride? Like, what is the plot here? And he was like, okay, I just recommend that you take all the B lines. He was so good. He made me feel like I've got this.
Oh, cool, man.
Take all the B lines. Don't worry about the A lines and walk if you need to walk. Like, don't try be a hero. And, at that time, I don't remember if my feet were clipped in. I think they were still on flats. Okay. And it was a mess. Like, I think I ran. If anyone has ridden at Toba Trails, it is one of the hardest cross-country courses South Africa has, and probably one of the most dangerous because it's so 40-20 style. It's just you never find rhythm at Toba. And I finished that race and I was like, I got to do another one.
Oh, no. Okay, so that was love at first.
That was the most terrifying, hardest, hectic thing. I think we had to race 5 laps, which was so long.
Yeah.
To race from 8 minutes to, I think we did an hour 40 or something because I think I got lapped twice by the leader. Like no one doesn't really. I think it was Amy Wakefield actually at the time.
Okay.
With her pink hair and her hairdresser star. But I was like, this is insane. I want to be better at this. And it became a little project.
Just like that.
Yeah. And again, like parents providing opportunity. Like my dad got me my first bike and it was a 26-inch hardtail from Complete Cyclist actually.
That's a good story.
fresh disc brakes. I literally had no idea what I was doing, but I had a super cool little carbon hardtail bike.
Yeah.
And that bike was indestructible because
I hope you got some pictures of that bike because we've
got to find some.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I have
that.
from like
Fountains.
Fountains
Dad will
in
probably
Pretoria. Maybe.
So that's age-wise, where are we now? Still 18,
Yeah,
19?
18.
Is this all over the period of like a month?
Like you end matric like halfway through the year technically, and then you're like studying for the rest. So I think there was 1 or 2 rides where even the rowing coach was like, let's go on a Friday spin, but we went like once or 3 or 4 times. But and maybe I should play that because like in rowing I was pretty average. But then when we would go for a mountain bike ride with the crew, I was like much faster than everyone else. And it didn't make sense because we were all just as strong as each other. But I could balance it a little bit better, or it was obvious that
bike handling was just something that you naturally were pretty good at.
Yeah, and when we went down the hill, which at Delta Park didn't even have trails then, but you would go around Delta Park, and on the way down, I would just be like, woohoo! Like you let the brakes go, your feet aren't clipped in, like you're wearing shorts and a t-shirt, but it was so fun because I love that adrenaline, that stimulation.
Along the Spruit in Joburg, that's okay.
That was our like...
It's a pretty magical place there in the middle of Joburg.
Yeah, and it's nice to see a lot of the security and protection of those
It's a safe haven in the middle of...
Especially Delta Park. Yeah.
It's magic.
Yeah.
So from that bug biting, do you go to varsity? What's the...
So this is a good story.
I feel like there's a
how much time do we have? So... it comes like, so the whole way through matric, everyone's like, oh, I got preliminarily accepted to Stellenbosch, and like, oh, are you going to UCT, and blah, 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 and like, oh, look at my grades, like they're so good, like I'm going to these fancy schmancy varsities. And I was like, how do you apply for varsity? Like I had just missed that completely.
Yeah.
And I remember my parents being like, what would you like to study? And I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I love my sport, but like, what are the options?
Yeah.
And my dad, he went into accounting, and then my mom kind of just did a BA degree. So they themselves, I think, didn't even really know what the options were because things had changed. And because I wasn't actively pursuing anything from a tertiary education standpoint, my parents just let me do my thing. Okay. So come matric exams, my dad's like, so you're going to varsity? And I was like, sure, how do we do this apply thing? So then I applied to UCT, Stellenbosch, Tux, UJ, and I just applied. Well, my parents were like, you should apply for BA law. Like you'd be good at law. And I was like, what is law? Is this like law and order? Or I don't want to be a judge or whatever they do inside that building. And I remember being very hesitant because I just couldn't really see myself doing what they were suggesting. Little did I know that like all you got to do in varsity is get in, and then you can shift degrees. But so then I started to do a bit of research and found like, okay, I want to do sports science. Like that sounds really cool.
Okay. Didn't
get accepted to one university in South Africa for sports science. Okay. And I was devastated because like, what is there if there isn't sport? Yeah. Like, what do you do then? Yeah. I'm not going to manage a business or like, which is so funny because, what I do now, it's like very much all in the world of business and marketing. Yeah. But I was so lost. And so again, my dad sits me down and he's like, have you ever thought of studying abroad? And I was like, where? Yeah. Like, you can do that? Like, where would you go? And he was like, well, you've got the whole world. Like, why don't you pick a country? And so at that time, I was like, well,
Dad's a legend.
Go Dad. And I then went and started Googling universities that cycle. And so the American collegiate sports industry then showed up on Google.
Okay.
And I was like, whoa. So there's like Division 1, Division 2, Division 3. Division 1 have the highest scholarships. That kind of looks cool. So, because my dad also was like, it's not a free ride. Like you got to, if you can get the scholarship to match what a South African varsity would cost, be my guest.
Cool.
So I was like, okay, I have a project, like a mission. So then I was like, well, what's the complete opposite of Joburg? And so I found North Carolina. And my mom was like, oh my God, we're about to send our child to North Carolina. So then, actually, thanks to my mom, she got in touch with MTN Quebec, where Carol Austin was working on testing a lot of their riders.
Okay.
And I went to do some FTP tests with her, which were the first FTP, 2 times 8 minutes. It's death on a platter. I didn't understand how to pace myself, what to do. But she, at that time, had good connections with a woman called Carla Swart.
Okay.
And Carla was a very incredibly good female road racer. And she went to a small liberal arts college called Lees-McRae. And so Carol wrote a letter to Lees-McRae saying, I highly recommend this cyclist. You know, she just did a test with me, which I really don't even think I got over 200 watts for that test. Like, it was not very good at all. And then came the opportunity to write a motivation on why that university should select me. And so I went to do my SATs. I kid you not, so hungover after matric vac. And SATs are no joke. It's like 3 times 3 hour exams. And I was there like shaking, like trying to do my English, set. Thank goodness. So I did take AP maths in school. So my math result for the SAT was so good, even though I didn't get an A in matric. And then there was the creative side of it. But I can write. So let me tell you, that's motivation. I was like, when I was 15, I was the fastest rower in South Africa. And essentially I said, if you invest in me, I will be the best cyclist you've ever had at your university come my final year. And they said yes. And I was like, I don't know how to ride a bike. Like, let's get our clipped pedals in.
It's time to get elite.
And I think, I truly believed it. I believed that I could do it. And I said, I am a mountain biker. These are my goals. I was racing cross country. Olympics is on the menu. Like, I am, I'm going to qualify. U23 World Champs is being hosted in South Africa. I'm going, even though I haven't done any of the races. And I'm still getting lapped by Yolandi Speedy and, Teresa Rolfe was this superhuman when I started. I'd never, ever imagined racing with her. And they said yes. And so so I had a gap year. So you matriculated in December, and then I only went the following year, August.
Okay.
So I was then a rowing and netball coach at St. Stithians through that time.
And mountain biking, presumably.
And I rode my mountain bike and I raced everything. The MTN series, I raced it flat so that I could show up an actual mountain bike.
And how did you do?
Yeah.
Talented from the start, I'm guessing.
No. So my first MTN marathon mountain bike race was the Barberton Classic.
Okay.
And I started that race and I was an hour behind the leader. And the winner of that race was Yolandi Swanepoel, Ben Malt's wife. Yeah. This beautiful blonde who apparently also rode. So I was like, there's the inspiration.
Okay.
And my dad was like, look, she was a rower. Yeah. And my dad would be like, look, watch the podium. Look at these chicks.
Yeah.
And I think he could see something in me, but I was hesitant. Because also that Barberton Classic, I think, took me about 5.5 hours. And I think now people race it in about 3.5. So it was very long. Then the Clarence one I did all, I guess, the smaller versions, the Trail Seeker series, I did all those. We started focusing on provincial cross country, and then I jumped into some of the SA Cup series, which were terrifying because Mariska and Candice were dueling it out at every race. And I was like, these chicks are insane. And that's when Bianca Hall was still racing for Red Bull and racing her heart out.
And what that gap between you and them, did that feel, was there drive or was it insurmountable? I'm never going to be there. Where was the belief at that point?
So I had a lot of process goals, not outcome goals. So the first process goal was to see if Mariska didn't lap me. And if I didn't get lapped, it was a good race. And then at U23 Worlds that hosted at Pietermaritzburg, I was going to try and not get lapped, but I got lapped and it was super hard. I was third last, I think. But I still went to a world championship race. Sure. So I was like,
half the job is just keep arriving, showing up.
No comments in the results section. I was still on the results. I made it there. And then it was building up to, okay, well, we're finishing on the same lap now. And then it was, okay, we're now... So once you break the top 10 at that time with the women's cross country, the gaps so the gap got bigger per step you took. So it was quite easy to come like from 10th to 5th was like relatively easy because you just had to keep riding up the hill and all the chicks would be walking or making mistakes or crashing or stuff. So you would just like ride past them. But then the real challenge came in was like, can you make a top 3? And I guess top 5 also was podium, but top 3 was the big one.
Okay.
And so I just kept going and kept going and kept going. And like training was so, like I will look back because I actually have training peaks since then.
Oh,
and,
great. And power data?
No. So just heart rate and actually it was just feeling. Like I was not, when my heart rate was at 185, I'm not like looking at it. I was just going like, okay, well, am my legs burning? Do I taste blood? We're doing it right, you know? Like just breathe on the downhill so you can try to get enough oxygen to your brain to think to take the right line in the A line. My heart rate would go up in the downhill sections because it was so terrifying. And when 29ers came out, that made my life a whole lot easier because they were much easier to just send it over stuff. The 26ers, you would often like ride and then hit a rock and then go over the handlebars. Where mountain bike, I mean, the 29ers, you just rolled over stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was a rapid 8 months. And that following year was the U23 cross country. And then after that, because I was in the varsity scene, I was racing and riding with like guys who were downhill pros, enduro bros, dual cross was a thing, like still slalom was a thing. So I was racing so many different disciplines, track as well, that I learned how to like suffer but ride well.
Yeah.
And
technically that must have honed your craft phenomenally.
Yeah. And remember, like America sends all their students to study in the worst time of year. So it's snowing, raining, freezing, miserable. Like the sun comes up at 8 and it goes down at 4. And so you kind of move then, and then the time zone shifts, and then the sun's going down at like 3:45. And so you're making way with this. And after being at Lees-McRae for a year, the snow was a little bit much for me. And I got in for just like a BA business or whatever. And I said, I want to do sports science. But Lees-McRae didn't offer that. And so Carla Swart, unfortunately, got hit by a truck and died in South Africa. And it was a devastating story because she was one of so many in South Africa who had so much potential to make it far beyond like being a world champion. She was a kind human, a generous person. And Brevard College, her coach had moved to Brevard College, which was 2 hours south. So it was border of North and South Carolina. And they also had a Carla Swart scholarship. And I started talking to the coach, whose name was Brian Sheedy. And I said, like, because we would race each other. So Lees-McRae came to Brevard. And I was like, your trails are sick. Like, how do I get here? And he goes, like, if you really want to come, like, find the degree you're interested in, and I will help you make this happen.
Oh, man.
And my poor dad was like, you're going where? Like, can you not just stay in one place and just like finish the degree and then come home?
Yeah.
So he didn't know anything. He doesn't know anything about my varsities and where I went to. He was just like, is the degree like valid?
Yeah. Is it a real thing?
Is it real? Yeah. And Brevard is actually a Division 2 school, but their cycling team was a Division 1 team.
Okay.
So we could race like MIT and all those Colorado states and all the big teams there. And then I just went.
So was that the key moment where, what is the key moment? What takes you from doing good, elevating, riding harder? Like, is it a training threshold you break through? Is it a mentality thing? Is it a confidence thing? Is it all those things merge at once? Or is it just linear? You just keep going and you kind of get there. Or was there a moment?
So my moments will be different to many people's moments.
Okay.
So they didn't have enough girls to race downhill. And I tried to do it on my 26-inch hardtail with my seat down. But snowshoe is gnarly when it snows and it's muddy. If anyone's ridden a snowshoe, they'll be like, oh my gosh, like you did what?
Yeah.
And Brevard was sponsored by Giant. And Liv were like slowly getting into it. But Brian had this demo Giant downhill bike. And he was like,
give it a go.
See what you can do. And I was racing it all season. Like we would just go to an event, and if there was a downhill race, I would literally jump onto it and send it. And then I think it was snowshoe. Yeah, it must have been. There was a road gap.
Okay.
And I think it was Walker Shore. It was Nico Mullally, Walker Shaw, Luca Shaw, the pro downhill guy. So Walker Shaw and I studied together.
That's insane.
Yeah, so one of my friends, when she got married, amazing. Oh, amazing people, like a beautiful family. Yeah. One of my friends, Nicole, when she got married, Yolanda Neff was at the wedding. Like, it's just amazing when these superstars, you get to meet them in their human form. Yeah. It's really lovely. But yeah, so Walker was like, "Oh, Brew, you've got this." And I was like, "Oh my God, what? Like, that, it's a road. Like, how do you jump a road?"
Maybe just explain a road gap for someone watching this that doesn't know what you mean. Like,
yeah. Okay, so you have thank goodness it was just a single road. Otherwise, I would definitely have died. But then they build this huge jump. So you go from the top there, and then you ride and you send it over the road, and you go down, and you have to, it always happens like this. You land into a turn.
Yeah.
And
I don't understand how you do that.
I was so scared. And he was like, the bike can do it. Like, the bike is designed to do this stuff.
Yeah.
I think someone said to me, another guy, he was like, you could jump this bike off the roof of a house and you'd be fine. And I was like, okay. So he said, Brew, just follow me.
Brew.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they called me Brew because South Africa, you know. Yeah. And I did. And I remember standing there like, you know, when you're so scared. And I was just like, I had this thing when we do little jumps, or not little, they got bigger and bigger, but I would always like breathe out over the jump.
Okay.
And so I remember getting there, and you got to that chicken mesh, and I just was like, whew, and you just elevated in the air, and you have this sense of suspense. And then we hit the bottom, and I remember my eyes, I just watched him go, and I just followed with him. And then I like got off the bike, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, what did we just do?
Please tell me there's footage of that.
No, back then, like, our phones were not good enough back then to really film. But I have 1 or 2 pictures of me racing downhill, looking like a pleb. Like, I don't have any experience. I borrowed a downhill helmet. Like, it's crazy what we were doing.
Yeah.
And so I did not
take... This is a part of the moment, I'm assuming. So I actually didn't take that line in the race run. And I got second at nationals for downhill at Snowshoe that year. And I think it could have been because of that. I don't know. I think, you know, you pick, if it's a 50% yes or no, you don't take it. Like, that's kind of the rule. But what that did, so that moment of being in suspense, it's like the riskiest of risks I had ever taken. Like, that, I could have been paralyzed if something went wrong. Like, it was so dangerous. Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I can do anything now.
Like, sick.
Like, it was that moment. Yeah. The switch just flipped. And I was like, you know.
When you said in the beginning, the if only self-confidence was unconditional. Yeah. Is this that?
Well, it's evidence-based. Yeah. So I had done it once, which means I could forever do it. I can do a road gap.
Goosies. That's amazing.
So then from there, I was like, oh, all the routes are frozen over. There's snow everywhere. I have a photo of that. Like, I can race in this. I can stay upright in this. It's not a problem. There's like, you know, we're doing short track now. Kate Courtney's on the start line. Like, I got this. That's no problem. I can do this. Yeah. And so even though I was hidden and like, you know, filtering back, obviously Kate's is Kate, but like, I was there. I was doing that stuff, and I wasn't scared. Amazing. And I think that like the moment is like, how big of a risk are you willing to take? Yeah. And if it works.
Feels like the start of the story. However long we've been sitting here, I feel like I'm even records like, fuck yeah, this is a good
You're
story.
Invested, yeah.
You have no idea how much we love listening to stories. It's like, I don't know any of this. This is like, I'm hearing
it is
for
cool.
the first time.
It is
it's so sick.
Yeah.
So then you finish up there, presumably. I'm dying to get back to the start where we were.
Why we hate road riding. No, okay, so
you finished the degree?
Yeah. So, well, actually, let me just go. I did finish at Brevard College with the omnium title, which is the best results at nationals for all disciplines. Wow. So second cross country, second in short track, second at downhill, and then I think I got like 11th in dual slalom, because those BMX chicks are unreal. They're amazing. Okay. And then we did team relay as well. I think Brevard won that year. Okay. But then like that omnium title meant so much to me. I was almost going for that more than the win of like individual, because to be versatile and adaptive in your environment is everything. You know, like throw me on any bike and I will do well. Like you can trust me.
Okay.
So I got that big tick box. And then
Dad's frothing, obviously.
Well, my dad is like, so when's the degree done? Okay. And when I transferred from Lees-McRae to Brevard, I essentially had to start again. So some of my credits transferred, but not all of them. And so I then started my BSc exercise science, and I specialized in advanced sports nutrition, coaching, and then exercise physiology. So in America, you can do anything you want. Like there's no set rule on what you have to study. So I was doing like medical terminology with all the pre-med people and, you know, all the bios and all that. So I was in that world. But I also wanted to figure out this like drive, confidence, self-esteem, worthiness. And I took a sports psych, a basic 101 sports psych class. And I was like, I want to major in this. And so then I double majored. So there was 2 degrees going at the same time. And so I needed to do 5 years in varsity, not 3. Okay. So I spent 5 years in the States essentially.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I came in already older than everyone because I was 19 and everyone who starts varsity is like 17.
Yeah.
And then I finished, like 24.
Okay. Golden years. I'm sure that must have been a positive time to reflect back on.
It was. I was just a sponge and I was like living life to the fullest. I mean, how we function on so little sleep and so much caffeine is like insane.
Caffeine is critical.
Yes. But so I was doing my research projects for it was like your honors year in exercise science, where I was doing at that time like the impact of the high fat, low carb on your FTP, which was the 20-minute one, because there was so much evidence saying at that time, high fat is the way, keto is the way. And I was like, but my body doesn't respond like that. So now I want to prove, is this theory correct? Is the research based just on diet, or do we have like genes, female physiology? Like there's so many variables.
That in and of itself is a whole.
And has been disproven and adapted even now, Yeah. And so that helped me become a better coach too. But then in the sports psych, I decided to do my internship for my final year. And I volunteered at a homeless shelter. And I think in America, the structure behind how they house people and how they save people from off the streets or, drug addicts and really put them through a system that works.
Yeah, genuinely want to help you.
Like it actually works.
Not just want to get you off the street visibly. Make a difference to your life.
From a food stamps card to helping them get their first jobs to making sure the job is within walking distance of the homeless shelter. And then putting them back into society as a functioning human. So, if they are psychologically not quite there and they do need the help, they do need a psychiatrist to prescribe certain medications. Like they were there to support that journey. And I was, and I still am, extremely passionate about like that world and like how to serve others in a way that genuinely gets them to function in society in a way that can thrive, not just like survive and live day to day.
Yeah. We're not just to survive.
Yeah.
We are to thrive.
Yeah.
Okay. I had no idea any of it.
Yeah. So I had a job set up. I was going to work for, I was actually going to work for a summer camp style vibe. I was going to be one of the head coaches that was the mountain biking supervisor, but I was going to use mountain biking to help with mental well-being. So it's a camp that they would send troubled kids to, so the naughty girls and guys. And they're the ones who want to push the barriers and a lot of the time they've wandered off the path, you know. And in North Carolina, there is quite a lot of like religion tightness. So they did want them to be very Southern. Yeah. But at the same time, these kids are still finding themselves.
Sure.
So I had it all ready, all set up. And I called Spike and I was like, what do you think? And he said, if you don't come home, like, we are done. I've been like along for the ride since you were 15. It's now a decade later. Yeah. Like, if it's okay, if you want to be together, like you should probably come home now.
Sure.
And that was tough. But at the same time, unconditional support, unconditional love, someone who has watched me change careers, find myself, like run away from home, like come back to home. He has been there through everything. And I decided to come home I know we're not supposed to say like we came home for a guy, but I mean, we're getting married, so.
Bugger that. You're definitely supposed to say that.
I love him.
Rom-com. This is amazing.
I love him so much. So, ta-da.
I love this interview. This is the best ever.
Yeah, it's cool.
Spark, you legend.
Yeah, he's totally.
Oh, man, that's fantastic. Good for you.
Thank you.
I'm a hopeless romantic. I choose like whatever wonderful life could have been there 1,000 times over.
Yeah. And
one of our life's great purposes is to find our, whatever you want to call it, soulmate, our match, our wife, our husband. Nothing else matters.
Yeah.
And then you have your child, boy or girl, doesn't matter. Thank God it's Gabriella. We have daughters and sons, but Gabriella is just like, that is the purpose of our lives. And then to help. To help and be community. Like those are the major big themes. It's not Louis Vuitton or S-Works or BM or like those things are all great and like be aspirational, push the boundary. The purpose is rooted in that companionship, family and love and community. That's everything.
Yeah.
And very few people find that. It's not common. So what you, as unique as you are, and the things that you've accomplished, to have that person so like hell-bent on being your partner, I'd say that's probably the most special thing that you found along the way.
He is my
Good
best
for you,
friend.
Spark. What a legend.
Thanks.
Representing solid for all the men out there are doing such a terrible job of it.
And he always says he allows me to wear the pants. So because I walk around like an independent woman.
I mean, he's also a badass. It's not like he's sitting packing bags at Pick and Pay. Not to disrespect him.
No,
doing that.
He's so cool.
I want to tell his story on behalf of.
We got to get him in the chair.
Yeah. Okay, so you moved back to South Africa for love. That's the greatest segue ever into the next chapter, which is South Africa elite level racing. Take us through that.
So then I was like, okay, now I want to be a pro. But at the same time, I was like, I'd also like to earn some money, you know? So how do I like do the two at once? Because I didn't know, well, from my knowledge at that time, like pros didn't really get paid to race. And the prize money was okay, but I was so far still from those podiums that I was like, okay, well, I want the pocket money. Because also my dad had like invested money in helping me get a bike. Like I want to show him that I can do this.
Yeah.
So I then decided like, well, I've just come from racing downhill. Like I've got skills. Maybe I could teach people how. So that's where Mark Ferree comes in handy. At the time, he was teaching skills, but he was like, he's the bike skills guy. Like he's our Joburg dude. And eventually through a network, I went to him. Well, I had a lesson from Sean Bardenhorst and then a lesson from this guy, but I was like, I know how to ride. Like, why am I getting people to teach me? I want to teach. I don't want to be taught.
Yeah.
And Mark was so encouraging. He was like, look, it's a special kind of job. It's quite physical. Obviously, you're standing, your bike's getting a lot of wear and tear, but you're helping more men and women like have access to ride gnarly trails like you do and not to be afraid of it.
Yeah.
And so he helped me a little bit with some lingo and set me on my way. And I was like, you know, earning a couple $300 here, $400 here, like just teaching. And that kind of built my reputation to start earning some pocket money. And I then decided, well, I can do more, you know, than just teach people like how to go through a rock garden or how to clip in and stuff like that. Like I could get them fit because technically now I have my bachelor's in sports science. So I know everything. And
hat and hold your scroll.
Yeah, I was like, I'm cool. Like I can do this now. And then I got into Training Peaks a little bit and I realized, okay. I need to specialize in cycling if I'm going to actually teach or coach people now. Because this is, you know, people pay good money for this, but I don't want to give like. And
there are some proper coaches in this country.
Especially South Africa. Yeah.
Science to Sports is a great example. You look at the level they're coaching at. It's not coaching, whatever the correct terminology is. But they're in at like a world
coaching,
level.
managing, testing, facilitating.
Like, I don't think South Africans realize how badass we are.
We have got, and like they were very inspiring. I mean, at the time I then was being coached by John Wakefield.
Oh, so then you know better than anyone.
Yeah, I was kind of in that bubble. And he suggested I do that cycling science like certification. Yeah. So I did that and I was like, this is really cool, very science to sporty, but I know I can do more. And then I decided to study the UCI level 1. So I got that too. And I was like, okay, I feel like now I have the cards next to my name where I can start coaching, but I also need experience. So then I started with like high school kids, but then I realized parents, like I'm scared to coach under 18s because you end up coaching their parents more than you end up coaching them. And it was quite a liability. And then I had all this insurance and stuff. So then I just started like working with pretty average people. And just helping them become better. And I would network through my skills lessons. So they'd be like, oh, I just want to be strong enough to get up this climb. And then I'll be like, a nice little plug-in. Well, I do offer some training programs as well. And then they would come on board. And
fair enough. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, that was my way because I'm a much better in person kind of person. And I then started to develop my philosophy of practice, where I realized like, what do I want to get out of this? What do I want my athletes to get out of this? And ultimately, it was a journey to self-discovery. You could go win races, cool. You can go finish an epic, cool. But if you can use cycling and mountain biking specifically to like find yourself, to find a space of authentic self-expression, I feel like we're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
And I felt like a single track is where I flourish. You know, I can just, you can see my attitude through my single track riding. You can see how much fun I'm having. You can see if I'm having a hard day. Like it's all in the body language. It's all there. Very psychological. And then I was like, I can do more. And so I applied for my master's degree in sport and performance psychology through an American university. So I was studying and in class at like midnight, 3 times a week. I remember waking up at Tankwa Trek on like the second stage, asking Dryland if I could get into their media tent so that I could be in class from 2 till 3:30 before like the Merino Monster stage. Like I suffered through that, but it was so worth it because I really got to understand like how does the mind work in terms of personalized high performance. And anyone's a high performer, like if they want to be, right? But they don't have to be a high performer in sport. They could be a high performer in the workplace. They could be a high-performing mom. They could be a high-performing child. And it's really just about locking in to the kind of coaching that resonates with them and unlocking their potential, whatever that potential may be. And so that's kind of like my philosophy step kept growing and kept growing. And, you know, then at that time, I became pretty good at mountain biking. And I was riding with some people who were training for Transbaviance. And I was like, what is this race? It seems kind of far. Like, why is this such a cool race? And then I get a WhatsApp, literally, while I was at St. Stidians coaching a skills lesson from Teresa Rolfe. And it goes, hi, Sarah. I don't know if you know me, but I've seen you racing some of these events. And I got your number from Vanessa Bell. And I'm really looking for a teammate for Transbaviance. Would you like to come race with me?
This is the start.
And that was my job interview for Galileo Risk. And Teresa was the sole sponsored rider from that team. And I raced on my 27.5 inch bike, my very first Transbaviance. We did win, but we won in a time of 11 hours and like 42 minutes, which is insane if you think about what the times are now for Transbaviance. And I said to her at the end, like, I remember getting to 8 hours and being like, I've never ridden any longer than this. And she was
uncharted territory.
She was so patient, so kind, so much food just getting fed to me. And we totally crushed it. And I kind of was like, I pick you as my person. Please, can I like be a part of a team with you? And I think she saw so much potential in me from a very mothering, nurturing perspective. And it was amazing to watch from, I think it was actually 2017, 18 was when that happened. From 2017 to 2019, Teresa and I then became the fastest all-female mountain bike team in the country.
Sick.
And we went from
that's so badass
mother-daughter relationship, like because she was very much a stand-in mom, to us winning that African jersey in 2019 at Cape Epic, to like becoming sisters. And she's the maid of honor at my wedding. So we're very much super close.
Please bring her around when she's here. I'd love to.
Yes, yes.
What a legend.
Yeah, she is the legend, in my opinion, of female mountain bikers who were so willing to give back. Because it's a very selfish sport, pro racing, and it's very hard to find somebody who genuinely cares about you and their teammates. And this little Efficient Infinity team is much like that.
In terms of that industry as it stands today, 2025, I think it's better or worse, particularly females and mountain bike racing.
It went
Anecdotally, I look at it, I'm like, it looks like it's better than it's ever been.
Yeah. From a numbers perspective, 100%. So more women are entering races. More women are able to ride everything, which I think is a huge, like, no one really focuses on that. But you know how many events women are like getting off and walking because it's either too scary or too gnarly or there's too much going on. Like, women are technically more advanced.
I've been dropped by so many. It's like ridiculous.
Women are also investing in their own equipment. So back then it was like the husbands would buy the wives bikes and they would just kind of be like wanting to ride with their husbands. Women are now choosing, like, they want to ride and their husband can either stay at home or he can do his own thing. Like, they're finding their independence through mountain biking.
That's a big deal.
I love it. It's totally my world. Yeah. And so then like-minded women are attracted and it becomes like, whether it's a midlife crisis or a fresh out of university person, I love to see how mountain biking has attracted so many women.
I was riding with someone this morning. I have to remember not to mention who says things because then people like don't want to talk around me. It's like, yeah, you mentioned on that podcast of yours, and I didn't necessarily want my name to be mentioned.
Got you.
And you could probably figure out very easily who it is because we rode back together. And he was saying how nice it is that I do want to talk about where you live now and your move in Cape Town and all that kind of stuff. This is going swimmingly well. Mr. David Belez is 12:30. That's the only thing I need to keep an eye on.
Okay. We'll have to do part 1, part 2.
Yeah, like 3, 4, 5. And he was saying it's going to do wonders for females in the South now that Sarah's here.
Oh.
And I thought about it later on while I was at home, and I was like, that is such a nice thing to say.
Yeah.
Like, what a big statement, and from who it came from, like it carries weight. And like it got me thinking. So I'm hell-bent on wanting to grow. Bike shops, broadly speaking, are so focused on selling their shit to the 10 people that cycle. None of them, this is a criticism, and I hope they all prove me wrong, are doing anything to make 20 people cycle. Male, female, doesn't matter. It's like, the things that keep me up is how do you get more women, girls, how do you get my 17-year-old daughter onto a mountain bike? Because I know the difference it makes her having the self-confidence to get on a bike, go and ride on her own, step one, that confidence.
Yeah.
Go and take on challenges. Everything that you've described, I want for my daughter, the 17-year-old, the 14-year-old boy, the 11-year-old boy, not the 1-year-old. She's too precious. Don't go anywhere near the rocks. Because I know what that will mean for you as a woman. I know what that's going to do for you as a human being. And I couldn't care less if you want to race or what your segment times are. I mean, eventually I'd nerd out on them. But I know what it does for your life. It's like, how do you get more people to do that? And it's a really difficult ask. We had a lady here the other day through Southside Cycles we've now encountered who rode a bike for the first time ever. I've said this like a million times. It's the one thing this year that it's grabbed me. It's the most successful thing we've achieved this year.
Wow.
Is that. She wouldn't do that if Natalie and Paige didn't start that group, which was a group of girls that were up the road riding from, their boom estate because that's where they felt safe. And Jason Van Slots, who's part of that group, he was like, well, why don't you guys come ride from here? Dave's hyper about this community thing, like have keys, park in the back, like make it your own. Yeah. And that little group of 2 went to 3, went to 5. I mean, you can see it today, growing, that whole flip and shoot the other day for the kids unveiling. It was like the most elite thing I've ever been exposed to. And that's how you do it. And it's like, well, how did you do that? It's by not doing it. It's by just being obsessed with the community. And I'm sure you'll see it'll filter around. Someone there will be like, could you, like, how do I mountain bike? I'm so scared. Couldn't imagine going to the mast. Like that'll naturally, organically happen just through community being around.
Yeah.
Which feeds into what I'm guessing is your business as well, but like just for South Africans, just for the sake of community, like how do you get more people into it? How do you make more girls and women feel comfortable enough, confident enough, brave enough to go and hit those trails? That's a big question because you want more of them doing it. To race or not, I think it's important. Some girls want to go and do that more as a challenge, less about the podium.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, as the sense of achievement from completing an event is worth going back for.
100%.
You know, and then the sense of achievement isn't attached to an outcome, like a result. It's generally attached to like doing your first Atticus. It's like just getting to the finish line is like your mega achievement.
I couldn't imagine. that to me is unachievable.
Like
I couldn't imagine it being possible.
Showing up for a Sondela trail seeker, you know, the amount of sand in corners, like just being able to not put your foot down, like that is so worth
being able
going
to
back
descend cliffhanger.
Yes, one of my favorite things to do.
Impossible.
I'll teach you.
Watch those videos. So funny, we talk about girls and guys. We're going up all the switchbacks to get up there, and every right turn, I clip out. I couldn't. What's that blue steel? That ridiculous movie Zoolander. He's like, he's got an ambi turner. If you remember that random moment, like I'm on an ambi turner. I can't turn the one way, and you see someone and you'll see them the whole way up. So it's, hi there, how are you? Let's switch back. They have this conversation. There was these two girls, ladies, and she's like, on the next bend, just tuck your elbow in. I'm like, what do you know?
Yeah.
Come the next bend. Oath to God, all I did from whatever dumb position I was in, I just tucked my elbow in, and I went around the bend. And I was like, I spent the next 18 hairpins. She probably wished she never said anything. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All the way to the top. And that clip, I don't think I've ever been so scared in my life getting to that cliffhanger descent.
Yeah.
That is impossible.
Yeah.
And I go and watch video footage. I try and find videos of people just going down there. So I cannot wrap my head around how you do that. It's like
just don't look down. Look where you're going. That's
crazy.
Like step
Anyway,
one.
Completely derailing where we were, but that's
it's fine.
Anyway,
That's what we build up to.
And that to me, there is so much legs to do so much as a collective.
Yeah.
Which we will do. I'm so thrilled that you are this side of the mountain because that's what he said rings so true. I think it's the whole of this area benefits from that, and that's
Thank you.
Such a nice thing to say. I'm glad I remembered to mention it. It's one of the nicest things I've heard someone say about someone.
It is very nice.
The elite racing, the pro racing. I'm dying to hear about that, because I know nothing other than through some of the elite level cyclists that I know and that I've interviewed. And the one thing that rings true is there's no set way this is what it's like. You ask for one and it's like, I get a salary and these ridiculous expectations, and the other is I get nothing. I race hard and I do it for passion. It's pretty cowboy out there.
Yeah.
At least it seems that way. Very keen just to hear pro cycling from your perspective.
So for me, I did go 2 years privateer, and that's kind of when I was finishing off my master's degree. And in that time, I was self-funded, but I was able to keep my bike. So I raced for Live Factory Racing. It's like a story for another time. But I tried to dabble in world gravel racing, and we were based in the USA. So my 2022 year, I raced the US gravel scene. It's essentially, I raced the Lifetime series, but I wasn't in the series because I don't think it existed then. So I have done like Unbound 200 and I have done Rebecca's Private Idaho and like Crusher in the Tasha. Yeah, I've done all of these races. Steamboat gravel is amazing.
Yeah.
But there was no real coverage of any South African races, So, I think when Kath Collane got in and then Hayley Priyan now got in, like, I guess someone had to do it first to open up the doors to be like, well, who's next? And so when I came back,
many more necks.
Yes. So I realized I would say halfway through the season of racing pro gravel, there's no amount of salary and income that could make me want to do this forever. To only race gravel was taking my calling and my talent and just like rubbing it in the dirt. There was no single track self-expression. There was no freedom of like going through gnarly cliffhanger turns. There was no gap jumps or road jumps.
Adrenaline, fear,
you can
risk.
do it on a gravel bike, but like these bikes, yes, you can do it, but they were not made to necessarily do this kind of stuff. You don't build a gravel bike to go through a rock garden.
Yeah.
And so I felt like I was just getting like covered up, and I was falling down the ranks, and I just was like, my fire is getting put out. So I left Live Factory Racing because they were going to go primarily into gravel because they needed to sell more gravel bikes. And their gravel bike was amazing. But they allowed me to keep my mountain bike. So I raced that mountain bike for 2 years in South Africa. So thank goodness for that, because I wasn't able to afford anything. And then I was working. And so just on a side note, so I co-own a coaching company called The Threshold Coaching. And so that's where we do the training prescription. And my philosophy of practice does come in where, because I'm so in tune with my athletes, I require 2 online meetings a month, so bi-monthly meetings, Zoom, online, or video call. But I want feedback from you. The comments you put in Training Peaks is so one-sided, like it's not a conversation.
It's one-dimensional.
And so if I'm going to create this program for you and like for what you want to do, I want to meet with you. And so that kind of is where it's a different kind of coaching. I think what makes me stand out amongst so many amazing coaches in South Africa is that you are never a number. Like I don't do template programs. Like when you come to me, you're being coached by Sarah Hill, and I'm coaching you. And this is how we're going to get this program forward. Yeah. And life happens. So I don't want to meet you just once a month. You know how much stuff happens in a month. We got to adapt the program. I want to be there for you. And then once I got my master's degree, I started Mindshift Performance. So I do integrative mental performance coaching, and it's mainly online, but I do opt in for like coming to your event or sitting at the netball game court so I could like observe and watch you play. I've worked with go-kart racers, rowers, cyclists. I mean, there's just so many sports that require basketball players, that require mental game. And because the pressure is on from so young, a lot of these kids are struggling. And so I want to help them in that sense. So that was, how can I do more? There's that element to it. And then I still have the mountain bike skills business. It's like skills and drills. That's kind of how it started. It'll always be called that. But it was always for the love of the sport, so it was never really the core element of what I did. But it is so fun to like go out and trade with some people on an afternoon or do sunset sessions.
Good to hear, because I want to send you an inquiry soon.
Cool. But so I was balancing all 3 businesses at the time, earning some prize money, kind of like flowing over. Every prize money I got just went into a deposit for the next race. So that's kind of how we were working. And I was pairing up with women who were also in similar places. They were working hard. But what I was finding was that there is a difference between a pro athlete who like is ready to take it to the next level versus a pro athlete who like has a suffer score of about like 8, and they're just not prepared to push through that boundary. And it takes so much to go into that like absolute numbness. Like the finish line is like life or death when you're racing out there. You become so black and white. And it is so difficult to get onto that page of racing that I was starting to see, like, what is the difference between an amateur pro and a pro? And yes, like on textbook paper, it's are you getting paid or not? That's kind of like the defining factor. But in a sense, there's a mental level that you need to be at. And don't get me wrong, the abilities can be different. But when you ride with someone and they are giving it 150%. You can see they're like practically bleeding through their eyeballs, but they want it. We could be 50th, but they want this more than they've ever wanted something in their whole life. Those are the kind of people I want to race with. And so I couldn't quite formulate a team because I was mismatching from that psychological like ability to suffer point. And I started importing my partners. So Aurelie from Mauritius, she's the marathon national champ. She came and did Swiss Epic with me. And she gave me the biggest hiding of my life. But I loved it. I was like, that's the flame that I'm looking for. I want someone to drag me around the Swiss Alps for 5 days so that I can remember, like, why is it that I do this? I want to see, like, what is my potential as a human?
Constantly. That is the game. Push.
I'm obsessed with it. And so then I was ready, and I went back to Hayden Simpson, who he owned Galileo Risk, and then it like morphed into Efficient Infinity. And I was literally like, please, will you take me back? Like the most like childish version that I could give him. But I said, it's the team atmosphere that I miss. I miss being a part of the family. Like it's not necessarily this outrageous salary, it was pretty average with Live Factory, but it was enough to get you by, especially in US dollars. To come home and it seems really good, but in the US it was like pretty average. But it was enough. And I said to him, like, I will work half as much as I currently work for my current businesses to be the best pro that you have ever seen of me, because I mean, I don't want to be better than all my teammates, but at the same time, like, we all want to be better than each other. But I wanted to be my best version with him. And I said, like, please give me another chance. And he, at the time, Danielle, she was moving to Titan Racing, and there was technically a gap open. And I was like, I want this gap. And I drove all the way to his office in Cape Town, and I was like, and I said, I'll take the same salary you gave me in 2019, and I want to do this now, and I want to show you that I can do this. And so I feel like I've done like a pretty good year. I feel like I've represented well. There's been a couple races that I wanted to do better at, but,
What does that feedback loop look like in a team? Is it like end of the race immediately, if you've done well or not? Like, what does recognition look like in that environment? I know as a business owner what that looks like for an employee.
Yes.
When your employee is a racer, what does that look like?
So our feedback loop really begins when the team is like clustered together. So when we're all together. So, even though, take Cape Pioneer Trek, for example, Steph and I were racing technically against Vera and Sam. And then Robin, she was racing the Otter Trail, so she couldn't come and join us, but it's fine. She did pretty well there anyway. We all went for our opener ride together. And in that ride in itself, I want to use the word aura, but like the energy around us was so supportive. Already, all we wanted for each other was the best. It was Sam's first major race back post elbow and hip break, so she was a metallic robot, coming in pretty nervous about it. She's half the size she was when she left. And all we wanted for her was to have a safe and solid event. Vera was coming in. She's had quite a hard year with her global marathon title. She's not quite achieving the races she wants to achieve. She just came back from World Champs. In my opinion, I think a top 10 is so good, especially when, what was it, like 5,000 meters of climbing for the women.
It's ridiculous.
So she's a superhuman in my mind. But all she wanted to do was just go have some fun on a bike again. And that's all we want. Steph and I pairing up. It's the second race we've ever paired up together. I'm worried about my organs because in stage racing, I'm the kind of body who swells. I retain a lot of water. I often, like, my stomach kind of turns. I get a stomach ulcer, I go anemic, and I go to hospital. Like, that's the routine. And I've been working a lot, again, like part 3 of our podcast. Like that's a whole nother realm of nutrition and growing and training and how I've grown my body to withstand stage racing, because it's not easy on the body at all. And you think it's just your muscles, but let me tell you, it's your organs that are the ones that are suffering. So all I wanted to do was get through a race where I didn't have any kind of organ failure. That would be great.
Yeah.
And then Steph I think she was intimidated by the strength around her. And I just said to her, like, I'm with you. Like, you are one of us, you know? Like, don't think that you are not a part of this group just because you haven't, like, achieved what they've achieved. Which is funny because I sit here going, these girls are so strong. And like, I am one of them. So you feel a part of the crew. And I think something like the Southside Cycles kit launch brings a lot of people together, not just women, but men, and you feel a part of something, and it unifies you. So the feedback loop in our team starts there. And that is unconditional, the absolute one for you to do your best. So then at Cape Pioneer, Sam and Vera raced ahead, demolished everybody on the first day. They had like 15 minutes ahead. So they then tactically helped us get into second place by racing with us, holding the other teams back while Steph gives her a 10-minute PR up a climb so we could go ahead. I would give her a push every now and then, but she was strong enough, so installing self-belief in her to see if we could hold on to that second. We didn't in the end. I mean, Bianca and Danielle are also beasts on the bike, but it was so cool to get that third place and to round the podium up.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, it is. And so then, in our team, it is quite open. Like, there's a bit of a tier structure. And so we don't share really how much each rider earns. But it's pretty obvious, like, Vera is a sought out woman right now. Everybody in the world wants Vera on her team. And so we're working really hard to keep her. And we know how much it costs to keep V on the team. So poor Hayden and the external sponsors, like they have to fork out a good salary, which she deserves to keep her on this team. And she has her own sponsors that then support her in her environment. I know Hollard from Namibia have just stepped in as well, which is amazing to help her. Sam has Toyota Gazoo, as well as Efficient Infinity, as well as Liqui Moly. So she has all of her like external sponsors that hold her together. And what I love is like Liqui Moly, they breathe Sam Sanders. Like they are Sam. And those are the kind of sponsors you want. You want people who really like, they believe in you as much as you believe in yourself.
I love the brands that are so committed.
Yes.
There's a handful.
Yes.
And it's not easy. The return, I mean, I've had this conversation at length. It's difficult for corporates to get a return because the media component in South Africa sucks.
Yeah.
There is no media. There's Toyota Cadence for a few minutes on on DSTV. There's no, like, where does a brand get coverage?
Max Sullivan.
On the finish line.
That's where we get coverage.
It's Sully.
Yeah.
There aren't platforms. Part of what we hope to solve in time, in 6 months, if I look at what we achieve, I don't know what's holding. I mean, I understand this has been incredibly expensive and difficult, but we did it between two of us, not media trained by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
A handful more of those creates a platform, creates a place where corporates could get some sort of return, where the brand can live out. And because I get that as a business owner, like you've got to, if you figure that part out, you'll unlock millions more.
Yeah.
Businesses, people in South Africa are extremely wealthy. We don't have a money problem. We have a media return on investment problem because where do they get it?
Yeah.
And it's so difficult to close that loop. And it's just because no one's taken the time to figure it out. Trying to.
Yeah.
Feel free to chime in and bring them in and help us figure it out. We're not trying to own everything and be greedy with it. But if you figure it out, it brings more money. If you bring more money, that's how you get, instead of 10 people cycling, you get 30 people cycling. That is the never-ending initiative. Stop worrying about your slice of the pie. Just make the pie so fucking big, everyone eats. That's the point.
Yeah, yeah.
That's America.
Yeah,
there is a lot of that. I don't know how I get onto this topic. We're watching dog long-distance jumping. So they've got a pool, and these dogs get released. These owners train dogs, and they throw the thing, and they jump into a pool.
Amazing, yeah.
It's a sport in America. There are sponsors. People are making money. I'm like, what?
Yep.
The fuck? We're just trying to get a few elite cycling teams in this country.
I know.
And these people are long distance jumping dogs into pools. And you must know there's millions of
dogs
dollars.
Get likes though.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, so do people cycling. If you just need to figure that out. So it's
I mean, we talk about
props to the ones that are doing it, that are there and that are in it. Your sponsors, bike and otherwise are like, those aren't people that are there for a quick ride and looking for a quick buck. They're emotively properly invested. So
100%.
Major kudos to them.
We look at like, what does return of investment mean? And what kind of return for your investment can I give you? And that's hard, especially when you're looking at, different companies and trying to approach people, especially cold calls. It's like, they don't know you. Who are you? Like the cycling is this big of a bubble, you know, like cricket is this much, there's billboards everywhere and we're just moving billboards essentially. So what I do is I focus on like, what is the meaning of your brand? Like, what do you want to do with your brand? And somebody like Complete Cyclist, like they've really been there from the beginning. And essentially that was my pitch. It's like, I was buying, my dad bought my first bike for me from your store. It wasn't an S-Works bike. It was a BH. So they weren't a sole proprietor of Specialized. But I kept coming back to the shop. And then those early morning rides that I nearly died on every Tuesday, Thursday, and just holding on for dear life, like it started at Complete Cyclist. It evolved to engine to engine. And then I kind of was becoming one of the few women who would show up and be a part of that. And like a lot of those riders rode from your store. And so, yes, I'm coming to you for a bike sponsorship because I am nothing without my equipment. I'm not a cyclist without my equipment. But the support that you have actually subconsciously provided me my entire career, like that's why I'm here. And I love what the the process of what they do, because they understand, like, again, there's tiers of bikes, and not everyone is able to afford top of the range bikes. But there is essentially a bike for everyone. And on top of that, then their ambassadors essentially ride the demo bikes, and those bikes are for sale. And then, you know, you're actually spreading it, but those customers are coming back to the store. They're not necessarily coming back to the store because they want to get like a specialized T-shirt. They want to be a part of like the Complete Cyclist family. And so that's why.
And that will sell a bike eventually.
100%. So they do. They sell 20, they sell 40 to people who love the brand. And they want to wear Complete Cyclist on their kit because it's like, it's cool. They're a
purchase of this kind is entirely emotive.
Yeah.
The first 4 bikes I bought for me and Cans were entirely to support the bike shop it was exactly a Complete Cyclist.
Yes.
And it was just, Complete Cyclist was just out of our remit in Bedford, and we were in Bonona.
Oh,
But
yes.
it's exactly that. That's your decision was entirely emotive, Trek specialized, you know, on the top end of the spectrum. They're all so good.
Yeah.
Like, honestly.
They are also
the decision is who's in my community emotively. I want to support. His name was Craig. He passed away. We bought our bikes inadvertently to support Craig. Like, if someone's going to profit, whatever it is they profit, I couldn't care less. Profit's good. People must make money.
Yes.
Because then it comes back in.
Yeah.
Money is not to be demonized.
Yeah.
And that's how you do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, major props to Complete Cyclist. I'm so glad to see that they're around and part of your story.
Yeah. And then they also support Sam with her bikes. And I just, because I remember saying to Sam, she was like buying her own bikes and trying to like rotate things through different bike shops. And I was like, you are a South African national champion. Like, you are worthy of equipment sponsor. Like, how come you haven't really sought out one? And when I mentioned it to Scott at Complete, like, you know, he has a vision himself of like what he wants to do with Complete and how they want to grow the business. And I think Sam aligned quite nicely with that. And
cool.
You know, it's, again, those are the brands that I look to pair up with because they support that bigger picture, that elements of growth, have a cool vision. Yeah.
Well, see, I say this not to everyone, but to enough people. What we have, there's a means for you to leverage it in a way that gives back to them. Please know that you're always welcome to use it as on the house. As
Thank you.
The community things. I think the platform is difficult. This works, I think.
Yeah.
There's content in this format I consume. Yeah. Most of the people I talk to consume. If you do it often enough, consistently enough, with the right brands, like I really do think there's some headway to be made there. So
definitely.
If that helps.
Oh, thank you.
There will be a part 2 and 3.
There has
absolutely
to be.
has to be. But in closing, I would love to know we'll have to cover the move and the personal stuff in future, and nutrition. I think that's a good
and my like
things.
Time racing for Live Factory.
Yeah.
I mean,
there must be so much in there.
Yeah, and my biggest burnout. What happened then? COVID.
So there's going to be a part 2, I think, is what's important to start to end on. But as far as ending goes, what does the end of your year look like? What are some of the personal and professional aspirations right now? You mentioned contract season. We are going into Cape Town's absolute hero months. So
yes,
what does the closing out of this year look like for you?
So there are people in this world that have like bucket list events, you know, whether it's a Cape Epic or, you know, like a Tankwa Trek or something like that. I also have bucket list partners. And so this year for Wines to Ales, I'm fortunate enough to be paired with Robin de Groot.
Okay.
And shame, if she watches this, she's going to be like, oh my gosh. But she's been an idol of mine since the very beginning of when I started riding. And I remember her style is something you can pick out, you know, from a bunch miles away. She was dabbling in road racing, and she was just so good, like all the time. And eventually when I got fast enough, I got to race her. I got dropped every time. I have never, ever come close to her. But I would just be in awe of how tactically smart she was, how kind she was when she raced, how much she uplifted those around her. But then, like, she is a go-getter, you know, like she's there to win. But she's there to win, like, in the nicest way possible, you know? And so I've always wanted to pair up with her for an event, but then she retired. And I was like, so I then was like, maybe I should be coached by her. Okay. Dabbled around with that for a bit. And then now, because she's kind of on the team, she was available for Wines to Wales, and our manager literally was like, Vera and Sam, Sarah and Robin. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then I have to just be cool. Like, how do I be as low key?
My gosh, we need to try and get this video out before Wines to Wales. She has to see this.
Yeah, so we have very different styles of riding, but that often makes like the most decorated teams. And I know very much like Vera, she's going to bring the strengths out of me. And I, in turn, will lead us down the hills in the safest but most fun way possible.
I love that.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Thank you.
It's going to be lots of fun. We'll keep our eyes peeled. Hopefully Sully's out there snapping away. Any holidays planned for the end of the year? You're going to just soak up your beautiful new suburb? For
a change, being in Cape Town, we might actually stay here. Being in Noordhoek now, I feel like I'm on holiday. It's...
People pay lots of money to come on holiday where you live.
I cannot believe that this has become a reality. Like, it's another part 2 story. We do have, so our parents-in-law, Spike's parents, they live in St. Francis Bay in the Eastern Cape. So we do often pop over there, and then I drive to Plet to train with all the other people training for Epic. But I said to Spike, I would actually love to stay here because it's too beautiful not to.
Yeah. Well, we'll hopefully see you around.
Thanks.
Dev's been saying he wants to take you up Valpart.
Yes.
Please go and demolish his comm. I really need you to beat his comm.
Try.
He's convinced that you won't. Dev, she's going to destroy you. So yeah, hopefully we get to do some trails and drills. What is it?
Skills and drills.
Skills and drills.
Yes.
Loads of coffee, loads of banter, and hopefully we can shoot episode 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
So keen. It's going to be like an annual thing now.
It's been great to have you here in the cafe. Great to have you here on the podcast. Really, really thrilled to have you around, and looking forward to, in any way we can, helping spread the good word and doing more for our Deep South community.
Thank you. Amazing.
Thanks for your time, and best of luck for Wines to Wales. That's 2 weeks away?
No, it's actually, we start on Friday.
Okay, so you're doing the...
So you got some work cut out for you.
Okay. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Good luck then for that. We'll try and get the cut done.
Yeah.
Good luck for that. We'll chat when you're back.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Cool.